Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really digging into something significant, a critical strategic weather and climate risk assessment for Europe, specifically for late August 2025.
That's right.
And this isn't, just your run-of-the-mill forecast. It's not a typical summer pattern. We're actually looking at a specific, really intense weather setup that, well, it has truly historic potential. Our mission here is to understand what this deeply stable, high-pressure system, people often call it an omega block or maybe a heat dome, what it means for you right now, and what it signals for the continent's future resilience.
What we're seeing unfold is a remarkably stable, quite intense, and geographically huge high-pressure system.
Right.
It gets called an omega block because, well, if you look at a weather map, it has this distinctive A shape. Or sometimes a heat dome, which is pretty descriptive because it effectively traps warm air over these vast areas.
Like a lid.
Exactly like a lid. It stops other weather systems moving through. And the key point is, this isn't just about predicting the weather for a few days. It really represents a profound, multifaceted stress test for the entire continent.
A stress test. And that brings three main threats that you really need to consider, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
First, there's the extreme heat. We're talking extraordinary temperatures across huge areas.
Yeah.
Second, you've got these severe convective storms kind of brewing on the edges of the system. And third, it's significantly compounding existing drought and fire risks. I mean, the scale of the potential impact here is continental. It affects daily life in, well, countless ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's maybe zoom in a bit. Let's unpack what this omega block means, on the ground for you across Europe.
Right.
The most immediate thing, the most widespread impact is obviously the extreme heat.
That's the headline for sure.
Yeah. I mean, picture Paris, for example, maybe hitting 41 degrees Celsius. That's just, it's an extraordinary 16 degrees Celsius above average for late August.
16 degrees, that's huge.
Or think about Madrid, perhaps reaching a scorching 42 degrees Celsius. But it's not just those peak numbers, is it?
No, not at all. The real danger often lies in the duration.
Exactly. The stability of this block means you're looking at multi-day heat with very little, maybe even no, overnight cooling.
And that's incredibly dangerous for public health.
Yeah.
Your body essentially has no chance to recover from that relentless heat day after day.
Leads to worse health conditions, serious heat illnesses, and sadly, increased mortality rates.
Yeah. And beyond the direct heat impacts, there's another critical aspect. It's how the seemingly stable heat dome, kind of paradoxically, sets the stage for really violent thunderstorms on its edges.
How does that work? The stability causing instability.
Well, you get intense heating at the surface, right? That creates extreme atmospheric instability. Yeah. Then you combine that with a lot of moisture flowing in, especially from a record warm Mediterranean Sea this year. And boom, you've got the ingredients for potentially very large destructive hail. We're talking hailstones bigger than 5 centimeters, particularly threatening, say, from the Alpine region across into Central and Eastern Europe. And look, this isn't just theoretical. Europe has already seen an alarming 267% increase in hailstorms over the last 5 years.
267%.
Yeah.
That's staggering.
It really is. And it's not just a statistic, It means escalating damage, infrastructure, crops, cars. It's a direct hit to insurance markets, too. It forces us to rethink how we model risk.
And the threats don't stop there, do they? This heat isn't happening in a vacuum.
Not at all.
Here's where it gets really interesting, or maybe worrying. This intense heat dramatically worsens drought conditions that might already exist.
It turbocharges the drying.
Right, creating extreme wildfire danger. You look at places like the Iberian Peninsula or the North Caucasus, this heat just turns that already dry vegetation into, well, basically tinder, just waiting for a spark.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, it really raises an important question. Why Europe? Why is it so vulnerable to these kinds of extreme events right now?
Good question.
Well, the data's pretty clear. Science confirms Europe is the world's fastest warming continent. It's heating up at nearly double the global average.
Double. How much are we talking?
About 2.3 degrees Celsius warming compared to pre-industrial times versus maybe 1.1 to 1.3 degrees globally. It's a significant difference.
Wow.
And this isn't just random bad luck. It's seen as a direct manifestation of climate change altering large-scale atmospheric circulation patterns, things like the North Atlantic Oscillation, which is a major weather driver for the region.
So climate change is making these blocking patterns, like this omega block, more likely or more intense.
Exactly. More frequent, more persistent blocking patterns seem to be part of the story. And we can even see the human fingerprint using attribution science.
Which tries to link specific events to climate change.
Yes. It quantifies how human-induced warming changes the odds. For instance, studies showed that the devastating 2010 Russian heatwave, which tragically claimed around 55,000 lives, was made significantly more probable because of the warming caused by human activities.
55,000 lives. That really drives home the human cost, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
So, okay. Bring it back to this current event. What does all this mean for daily life for you, the listener? We're talking systemic risks, right? Risks that ripple through society.
That's the key. Systemic.
We could be looking at potential public health crises. Hospitals struggling to cope with heat emergencies. Massive stress on energy grids.
Right. Record demand for air conditioning just when?
Just when low river flows might actually be constraining power supply because power plants need river water for cooling.
A dangerous combination.
And then there's the flash drought impact on agriculture. Crops wilting just before harvest. And we even see low water levels on major rivers like the Rhine and the Danube, potentially disrupting shipping supply chains.
Yeah, the economic impacts stack up quickly. And these risks aren't spread evenly either. Certain regions face unique compounding challenges.
Like the North Caucasus you mentioned.
Exactly. That's emerging as a critical hotspot of compound risk. In that region, the intense heat accelerates glacial melt. Short term, that might mean mud flows, which are dangerous in themselves.
But long term?
Long term, it means chronic water scarcity as those crucial freshwater reserves, the glaciers, deplete faster. It actively undermines the region's future resilience.
So this whole picture, it's not just some freak event, is it? It feels more like a clear, maybe even stark signal.
I think that's right. It's a signal of Europe's new climate reality, a glimpse into a future that, frankly, we're already starting to experience.
A challenging glimpse.
Indeed. And I think it underscores an urgent need. We have to move beyond just reacting to extreme weather events as isolated emergencies.
Towards something more strategic.
Yes, exactly. Towards embracing a more holistic, strategic approach, really focusing on building societal resilience across the board because we're facing an irrevocably changed and, frankly, more hazardous climate.
So a final thought maybe for you, the listener, to ponder. What changes will you start to see or maybe demand in how communities and governments respond to challenges like these in the future? How do we build that resilience?